thing is that you want to know is the palette. Those are your main tasks. Those are your main tasks. You have activities. Annulation, you can actually, I don't know, say something about it if you don't. Example, if you're working with a lot of people and you have an idea, or you have imagined that the process will go the other way, that or a bit different, you just say, okay, this isn't good at all. Well, of course it isn't, because there is nothing on it. But it's just a innovation. Nothing matters. The main tasks are activities. Sorry, the main activities are tasks, human task, business rule task, and of course a process. Now you might think, what are those? Well, let me show you. Human task is a task that is made by a person. Example, counting the documents, or counting the goods. That isn't done by a computer. A task might be something you say, okay, so if we have a human task, then why do we have a task? A human task does something that computer cannot or don't want to. In that case, you don't want to do that by a computer. Other things are made by tasks. For instance, if you're checking the goods. So what about business rule tasks? Well, business rule tasks defines, for example, you are getting a loan, and by the credit you have and the money you are trying to spend or get it on a loan defines in which group you're going to go. For instance, if you have a short loan or a long-term loan, it's the different group. Sometimes businesses don't re-engineer business processes, but just business rules, because it's cheaper. For example, you're a cell phone company. You're selling phones. Well, you have new shipment, new packages for services. Well, will you re-engineer the whole process? No, you won't, because it's expensive. The easiest way is to analyze and say, okay, here are some business rules, tasks that we can change, and other packages can that we don't sell anymore. We will just say to the customers, well, you can use the new packages, or we can give you bonuses, etc. You get a point. What about sub-process? Well, you see, everything in here is a process. So what about sub-processes? Sub-processes are combined tasks. Sub-processes contain all the things combined with a single approach. For example, you have a small company that sells cars. Well, you have to buy them, you have to sell them, and you also have to pay your employees. Well, one sub-process, if you imagine that the whole process is running a company, one sub-process is buying the cars, the other sub-process is selling the cars, etc. So you don't mix up the sub-processes or the tasks, and it's easier to see that if you're trying to explain to other people how the main process is going to run. As you can see, you also have an input. You can make an output. I'll show you later how to combine. But first of all, we don't need that. Yeah. Okay. What about loops? There are three types of loops. One is a for loop. I hope I don't have to explain it. For example, you have to count the goods 3 times, so you always have 3 counts, so that is a for loop. The other one is a while loop or do-while loop. A while loop is you have to count so many times that you have the direct number. It doesn't care if you have 10 times, 100 times, or just once. You just have to count till you get the right number. A do-while loop is, for example, you are counting the goods and you have to get 3 times the same number till you don't get the 3 exactly the same numbers. So about decisions, gateways. Further, I'm going to show you how to connect. Let's say we have 2 tasks. We're going to name, first task is creating a document, and the other one is reviewing the document. Okay, let's say yes. You may think, what about input and outputs? Well, where is the document? First off, you have to put advanced. So, you have inputs and output. Let's say the process starts here. So, we connect. And ends somewhere there. Let's say, for that we need a business item. Let's say, for now, we will take business item 1. You can see it's full. The input and output are not the same as it is by the start. That's because we have a business item on it. I'll explain about business item later. Okay, let's go here. After the reviewing the document, we can decide. Let's go about the gateways. First, we have to combine and give the business item on it. So we have a decision. Is the document valid? Well, is okay, and the document is okay, is valid. Let's say we are going to send it to the account department. Okay. And you can see the business item goes with the flow. That is only by the gateways. By other, let's say, combining the tasks, let's say from here, we have a business item. As you can see, it doesn't go. And just click on the output and delete. If the document isn't valid, well, let's say we will terminate it. And after the sending the document to the department, let's say the process ends here for us. And of course, give the business item a name. As you can see, we cannot give this on the start because it's a simple. There is a simple explanation behind it. For instance, you cannot start something with nothing. Example: you have to create a document to get it started, or you have to create something to get it rolling on your business process. You cannot just start from something. You have to create it or receive it. Now, we will go to that later. We have multiple choices. Well, first thing is, connect here. We have a business item. Our business item is the input. The first output, of course, is sending it to the department. Second output is terminate. Well, you can have a third option, and the third option would be another department. Well, it might be silly, but I'm just trying to teach you. So the first thing you want to do is add a breach. You see, by multiple choices, it means multiple choices. Again, add breach, add breach. If you have you can add as many breaches as you want, as much as you have choices. What about deleting it? Well, no problem. Delete. Delete. And let's say it goes here. Okay, and you see, it has a business item on it. See. And of course, by that, if you think you can just go from this to this, you cannot. You have to create a new end. Now by this end, that doesn't mean you have to end here. Well, someone can go to this place with another business model. Okay, so what about merge? Well, merge has another thing. For instance, you have two questions about, which is to say task 1 and task 2. I need both documents to give the decision. Yeah. Then we have fork and join. Well, for fork, it's like that. You have a decision you just made, or a task. And from that task, it goes to 2 different tasks, or 5 different tasks, or 6 different tasks. And the same business item goes to as many tasks or any activities you want. I'm just saying too much task, isn't I? Well, the thing is, the most used activity is tasks. So, yeah. So, what about join? Well, the join gateway is actually quite similar. This time with a bit different. For instance, you have 4 documents and you need it all for doing one task. Events, I'm not going to show you, but let's say about events and terminate. The thing is, start, you actually, it's natural, you start the process and you just end it, but that doesn't mean that it ends by you. From that end, someone else can start the process. The terminate is actually the real end, because you terminate the process and there is no way someone else can go from that point further.